How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to the channel, and today I'm going to show you some budget rock sliders. And the reason why I say these are budget, I priced 2x6 steel, and I priced pipe, thick wall pipe, and I got my hands on a bender. I was like, I can do this for cheap, and honestly it would have cost me $400 some to make my own instead of ordering these ones off Affordable Off-Road. Now it depends what state you live in, what that goes by, but here in West Virginia, I don't know why steel's so high, but I'm not going to build rock sliders for $500. By the time I was done buying everything and then the wire and the grinding wheels, I'd probably be $500 in. Honestly, I'm only like $380 in these rock sliders because I already had the wire and I bought a couple grinding wheels, but I would have to do more welding if I'm making it myself because I had to weld the pipes on, bend them, and all that stuff. But today we're going to be installing these. I'm going to show you an easy way to install them if your Jeep isn't rusted out. Now if you do have rust, you're going to have to go ahead and get unibody stiffeners and weld it to the unibody, which I'm still planning on doing, but I'm going to do it in a future date. I just want to get these on. What I'm going to be doing is cutting the seam on the top up by the door, and then cutting the bottom and just pushing the bottom down, the inner rocker panel, and then I'm going to be trimming the bottom off, and I'm going to be pushing it back up so I can weld it to the bottom, and you weld the top, and that leaves a pretty solid piece. I'll show you the video here in a minute, the install video. But one thing I want to mention, I flipped these rock sliders upside down and turned them around, and I'll explain at the end of the video why I did that. It makes more sense. There might be a little bit of a gap in the front, but I'm fine with that because when I get my flat flares, they'll actually meet that anyway, the steel flat flares, so it'll fill that gap in, because I'm trying to make everything work together, because if I were to put it the other way with it squared off, I don't think it would have matched the flat flares. But let's go ahead and jump into the video and show you how we did it. Alright, so we got the rock slider laying here. I'm actually going to turn these upside down because I'll show you at the end of the video. What you got to do is cut pretty much the middle of your rocker out and mark it, and just cut along the top of this seam, and then you're going to cut along the bottom and just shove it in there. I got it cut, so we're just going to pull it down, and I'll show you what's on the bottom. That's basically all you do, is cut it off right there and cut it off right there. Now I pulled it down. I'm going to be trimming this off to meet the middle of the rock slider on the bottom. I'm going to push the rock slider in there and pound it up, and that way I can weld the bottom too, so it'll set inside. But I'm going to coat this with PR15. So basically that's all you do, is trim the bottom, shove it in, mock it up, and then start welding the top and the bottom. So I got it all welded in. It's pretty self-explanatory, not that hard. I'm painting it up now. This is what it looks like after it's done. It took me probably about 4 hours, and it was pretty easy. I've actually done these before, so I kind of know what I'm doing already. So a lot of people is going to ask me why I flipped these upside down, and I have a good reason for that. There might be a little goofy gap right there, but this makes more sense to me. The front's supposed to go in the back, the angled part is supposed to go in the back, and the squared off part is supposed to go in the front, and it's straight down. Well, I think that may be a problem because it would cause it to hang up. And I think it looks more natural it coming straight down right back here. I think the company just needs to go ahead and angle both sides of it, honestly, in my opinion. But the reason why I put it like this is because if I get caught on a rock, it's going to push it down and get me off of it. So if I put it the other way, put the squared end up here, it's going to hang up on stuff, and I'm going to run right into stuff. So this is pretty self-explanatory. It took me like 4 hours, and you can do this however you want. You can put them on the way you're supposed to. I did it this way because I prefer function over looks. Yeah, the squared off look would make it probably fill that gap in and everything, and happy-go-lucky, it would look great. But I think the company needs to cut the angles on both sides. Now I could have did that, but I'm not going to do it. I just went ahead and flipped them around, turned them upside down, so the angle part is in the front. That way if I get hung up on something, it pushes me over it instead of hanging me up on it. I do believe if you'd weld the part that's stuck down, because it's stuck down pretty far on mine, it would actually catch stuff and it would be a problem. So I turned mine around and upside down. Basically I put the right on the left and left on the right, so that has a little slope like that. But I kind of like the way it looks in the back, how it comes down straight. Because for one, when I get the fender flares, it'll meet the back and it'll meet the front just fine. Plus I'm going to be trimming the bottom of that fender anyway, and I'm rolling it up, so it doesn't matter. There's not going to be a goofy gap in there anymore. But I think it turned out good. Either way you do this, it's the same process. Just cut the top, cut the bottom, trim the bottom, slide it in, put it tight up against the body, go ahead and weld it in. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. It was a simple install. I'm Cherokee Ronnie. Stay dirty, my friends.